Hey, chat. I'm going to give it a few minutes here, and then we'll get going. I know it's late. It's Sunday night, 6:46 p.m. in Los Angeles, so... Well, it looks like my iPad is checking in. Hey, Kermudge, how you doing? I wasn't even going to go live tonight, but I feel like I have to. I owe it to Nancy. Hi, Killian. How are you? I don't think I'm going to make this very long tonight, but I want to chat about Nancy Guthrie, the missing person in Tucson, Arizona, because it's day number 22 and very little has happened today. I'm all right. Oh, hi, Kelly. She says, hey, I'm at a sleep study and will need to go when nurse comes in to hook me up. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't going to bother you because I knew you were doing that tonight, Kelly. Well, Kelly Ray, because we have Kelly Ann and Kelly Ray. So, thanks for coming in. Kermudge says, all good here, waiting on dinner. Have a pork roast in the Dutch oven. Oh, that sounds yummy. Yeah, I had a little bit of a Taco Bell quesadilla and some free nacho chips, but I didn't eat very much of it. It just was like, I slept in today. I had a late breakfast. I had a waffle. I'm getting down on groceries, so I'm like, screw it. I don't want to do grocery shopping today. I'm just going to order something from Uber Eats. Jamie James says, I'm sorry to say, but I don't think Nancy is alive anymore. I don't feel that way either. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes to bring some more people in, but thank you for those who are here. Make sure you give me a thumbs up and give me some red hearts. Yeah, it's day number 22. Or is it 21? Yeah, today's the 22nd. It's day 21. I'm sorry. Oh, see, I don't even know what day it is anymore. Yeah. There hasn't been a big development in the case. They did have a local, like a search group that was just free volunteers that, a couple days ago or yesterday, the sheriff was trying to go, no, 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 no. But they went ahead and they started their search at 8 a.m. Tucson time. And somebody did find a black backpack in a tunnel, but it didn't match the one that they're looking for that they believe was purchased from Walmart. So, but the police did come. The Pima County Sheriff, a female deputy, came and picked it up, took it into evidence. Jamie James says someone keeping her in tallying care of her doesn't seem to be realistic. Taking care of her doesn't seem to be realistic. Yeah, I agree. Hi, Ember on pause. I haven't seen you before. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button and hit that bell, the little bell icon when you subscribe. It'll notify you when I go live. I just wanted to tell you, yeah, but there's a way to narrow it down, especially with the mask, because you can't even get that in Tucson. You have to order it online. I mean, there's not a lot of people in Tucson ordering, ski masks, but we don't know how old it is. Wow, 21 people. Hey, everybody hit that thumbs up. I appreciate you guys coming in on a Sunday night. It's like 6:50 here in Los Angeles, so it's pretty late probably where you guys are. But I wanted to tell you, and I'm kind of embarrassed to tell you this, that I, once again, last night, after doing my live, I went down the psychic rabbit hole again. Because for some reason, I keep seeing water. And maybe that's just like because I'm thinking that she's already gone and that somebody had to put her somewhere. And I know that, in the desert, there's no like soil, so to speak. It's just rock and dirt and sand. And it's very, very hard. It's all calcified. And, even with a shovel, you can barely dig an inch in the desert. So I don't know. Maybe that's why my head is going to like if they had to dispose of her, that maybe she could be in water. But I don't want to think negatively like that. I want to think positive that there's some miracle that may have happened and they may have got her medication, and even though they didn't take it with them, and maybe she is alive. Yeah, Kelly Ray says she keeps thinking of the desert. Now, let me tell you about this psychic rabbit hole I went down. And I don't even believe in something like this. This is some gadget you can buy off of Amazon for like $100 or something. Um, there is a thing called a spirit box. Jamie James says, any reports of dog sniffing areas? No, I haven't heard of any dogs other than the dogs that came out, the day of from the Border Patrol. But let me tell you about the spirit box thing. This is the second one. The one I did before, or didn't do, but I listened to, was the lady in Australia. She's quite popular. This was some other woman, she's got a monetized YouTube channel, so I guess I know, I guess she knows what she's doing YouTube wise because, she's more successful than I am. So I'm not going to criticize her, but I think it's all hokey. She's sitting there in the dark with her candles and, her little skulls and her crystals and her boxes. And she had this little toy that, you buy on Amazon for like $70 and it lights up red and green and purple and, different colors. And the different colors, you can assign it to mean yes or no. And so basically she had this light up ghost toy and this which you can find under ghost hunting supplies on Amazon. And she also had this spirit box, but she had it facing towards her, not towards the camera. And then she had this little, like a little tiny one that looked like a transistor, like a handheld radio with the antenna. It's kind of hard to see because she was sitting in the dark. A ghost scanner, yeah, that's basically it, Jamie. Kermudge says Tesla made the first spirit box, then Edison made one. Didn't know that, Kermudge. Ruthie, I keep doing that as well. I am keeping the faith that God has kept her alive. Don't do spirit boxes. Yeah, I haven't. I believe only in Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. I agree, Ruthie. I don't know. I think a spirit box, if you believe in like the paranormal and the supernatural, they say it's like really dangerous to bring a Ouija board into your home. Like a lot of ghost hunters say, don't do that. Don't bring one into your home. And if you do, you have to dispose of it of a certain way. You can't just throw it in the garbage. I would feel the same thing about the spirit box. If there is any ounce of little iota of truth in them, I just think it could open up a portal to something that you don't want to have in your house. So and I had a weird experience last night in my house after I listened to that. It was just a YouTube video of somebody using a spirit box, and it kind of like whoa, it got my attention. But before I go over it, let me just read a couple more comments here. Kermudge says, you have to remember they were big during the big seance time period. Okay, didn't know that. Kelly, but if she was alive all this time, imagine what all she may have been through. I hate it for her. Me too. Jamie James says, I can believe it, April. Well, let's just go over what this woman said. And I'm not going to name her. I don't even remember the name of the channel. She seemed to be kind of behind the times, or it was maybe 6 or 7 days ago that she filmed it. And before she got the spirit box going, she had the little green and red lights flashing. But it was flashing green for everything. Oh, excuse me, I just bumped the camera. She was, everything she asked, it was turning green. And she said, is family involved? Yes. Did they know her location? Yes. Is Nancy okay? Yes. And it was like, there was not a maybe or a no. Everything was a yes. Is Nancy alive? Yes. Is she being held? Yes. And then all of a sudden, when she's talking about where she's being held, the spirit box finally comes through and it says room number 19. And it said that several times. So I was just like, huh? What does that mean? Room number 19. Savala says, oh, who are you talking about? We're talking about Nancy Guthrie. Why are they saying the house is barricaded by the police? Kelly, oh my. Bobby Boop, don't know, but there's something green on your forehead. Yes, that's my Wi-Fi mic, which I would like to upgrade soon. But that's another story. Okay, so basically she being held in Tucson. And the little light said yes, and within 10 miles, yes. Then the box responded, stars and noise. We have no idea what that means. Did she know the person at her front door? And the little light said yes. Like everything was a yes. So, I think she's got like a short in her little EMF reader. Was it related to her family? Yes. Is she being held in a house? And the spirit box said attic. Okay. And this is where it kind of, just for a moment, I had to take a deep breath because I had just got off the air talking about the guy from Jordan who we're calling Metro Man, Zach Jaghoob, and the box, and it was very clear. And it was throughout this very long video. It was almost a 40-minute video. The box said Jordan. And this lady obviously had no idea what that meant and kept saying, Jordan? Who's Jordan? And she wasn't getting an answer. And then the box said, money. And I'm thinking, oh my God, she doesn't know what Jordan means? Like, she's not hearing the story about the dailies and the car dealership and Zach Jaghoob and the Range Rover and all the disparages, the disagreements over when he left the country, when he lived here, when he didn't live here, what messages are his, what messages aren't his, where he said, I sold that car to a woman and a son, or a mother and a son, and I'm out of the country. And now all of a sudden, his name blows up and he's got 66,000 followers that he didn't have the day before. And he's like, hey, like, I'm out of the country. I haven't lived in the United States since 2019, yada, yada, yada. But if you look at his social media, he's definitely been in Tucson, many times since 2019, and including my town, Los Angeles. So I just thought that was kind of coincidental that, we just did this live stream and there was like 2,000 people tuned into it throughout the hour or hour and a half. And we were talking about this Jordanian man from Amman, Jordan, and this box kept saying Jordan, and then it kept saying money, and then a voice said, Jordan is beside you. And once again, she was like, who's Jordan? What does this mean? He has her, the box said. Then someone said, Jordan isn't allowed in here. There's at least two. They questioned them, came after me. What about Savannah? When will she be found? Tuesday. Money. Multiple names were said. Vivian, Chris, once again, Jordan, Betty. Somebody else I had listened to had said Betty. I have no idea what that means. Two men. It's personal. Then Michelle was mentioned. Active weather. Randy, which I think is quite funny because I know a Randy. Backyard, towards the lake, and international. And when she asked if it was an Uber driver or delivery person, the box said it was. Now, do I believe in any of this? Absolutely not. Hi, Manai. Yeah, it was just asking something, and it said, what about, or where is, what was that about Savannah? I read through it so quick. What did it just say about Savannah? Oh, what about Savannah? The box said, what about Savannah? Big coincidence, though. I thought that the Jordan part was coincidental. And, as a PI, I don't believe in coincidences, but I don't believe in Ouija boards and spirit boxes. I believe there are some people that are talented and they have spidey senses. I have spidey senses. It's helped me through a 42-year PI career. Hi, Christopher. Let's see. So that came up, this Jordan, and she kept saying, oh, hold on, I got to take one of my heart pills. That's why I went on and came off, because I forgot to turn off the pill alarm. And if I don't turn off the pill alarm, it'll knock the audio out, I've discovered. So I didn't want that going off during this short show that I'm going to do. It is going to be short, everybody. Hey, I got 21 people right now in the chat. I got 10 thumbs up. Let's hit that thumbs up button. Let's get my watch hours up. So after I did this, I just had to sit here and just think about this. Like, what am I doing? And I keep telling myself, my inner psyche says, go back to square one. Go back to square one. It's either revenge against Savannah Guthrie, or it's somebody very close to her, family, friend, worker, not just some random acquaintance. This is very close. It's very personal. It's not a typical kidnapping. They spent 41 to 48 minutes in the house. No kidnapper does that. Anybody who would do that has been to that house before, or they were with somebody that knew the house. Like, they were very comfortable being in the house. But getting back to the spirit box thing for just a moment. After I did that, and I was just like, oh, April, like, why did you do that? And let's really think about this and let's really go back to square one. I heard a noise to my left where my computer was. I heard like a beeping noise just one time over on my desktop. And it sounded like my old Sony digital tape recorder. Well, it's not a tape, it's a digital recorder. And it has like a memory inside of it. And it's very old. It must be 20 to 25 years old. And it broke a couple months ago. I had to order a cheaper one off of Amazon that I've yet to use. Probably send it back. But this broken Sony is still sitting on my desk and it went off. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, it doesn't even work anymore. And it's very hard to turn it on. And nobody was there, not the cat, not me, not the bunny. It went on. And I'm like, okay, this is weird. And then I thought about a deceased friend. And I thought, okay, let's turn on the recorder button. Let's test it. Do we hear anything? No. Okay, let's go to the bathroom for a moment. Okay, let's come back. Let's sit down. And I said, okay. And I held it. And I was like, if this is so-and-so, I'm going to go over, I'm going to walk it over, I'm going to put it back on the desk, and I'm going to put it down very careful. And I came back and I sit down on the sofa and I go, if that's you, I want you to do it one more time. And I used her name. I want you to do it one more time. And it went beep. And it started running again. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, if that's really you, I need to know, where's Nancy Guthrie? Because you're on the other side and I think she's on the other side. Please give us a clue. I'm like, send me information on Nancy Guthrie. Send me good health. You know, I've been through absolute effing hell since 2016, even before I knew her, like especially since 2019. I need funds. I need better equipment. I need subscribers. I need watchers. I need 4,000 watch hours now. Like, I need to remonetize now and start over again. And like, just like, if there's anything you can do from the other side, including finding Nancy Guthrie, please help me. I'm begging. But I thought it was kind of creepy that I had just done a live and I listened to a spirit box who kept saying the name Jordan like 4 or 5 times. And then as soon as I turn it off, you know, a dead electronic goes off not once, but twice in my apartment. The second time I commanded it to, and it did. And I'm just like, okay, I think it's time to go to bed. And I couldn't sleep. And then my neighbor's dog barked at 3 a.m. And then I kept hearing guys upstairs walking around back and forth till like the sunrise. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to get up at 9. And oh, geez. Like, so I'm very tired today. Like I said, I ordered food out earlier. I didn't even eat much of it. I'm just like a waste case today. And I'm missing all these messages. Kelly said, holy crap. I think that was in response to the recorder going off by name. What do you think happened to your opinion? Yeah, I didn't take Jordan. First of all, let me back up. Jamie James says Jordan can be male or female. Yes, but when I heard the word Jordan, I was thinking of a place because she had been talking about a location and it kept coming up Jordan and then it came up international, like, there's more than one person involved and there's a ringleader and, there's this guy in Jordan who's like, hey, I didn't know anything about this. I've been out of the country. I haven't lived there since 2019, but that's not entirely true. Okay. And I'm not saying he's a suspect, but you have to take everybody's pleas with a grain of salt. Jamie James. Let's see. Kelly Sullivan. What do you think happened? I'm going to go back to the beginning. Revenge, money. Either it's connected to Savannah or it's connected to someone extremely close, like immediate family, a close friend, or someone who works for her. Kelly says, good point, Jamie. Yeah, regarding Jordan being a male or female. Then Kelly says, holy crap, probably because you were listening to my Sony tape recorder story. Well, I keep saying tape recorder. It's a digital recorder. Jamie James says, yes, Kelly, I don't think he went to her house to abduct her. I think he wanted something in the house and flat out panicked. Yeah, the person was in the house like almost an hour. That's not a kidnapping or a robbery or a burglary. Kidnappers, they don't do that, and they don't wait a day or two to send ransom notes. I've said that from the very beginning. Teresa said hi. Hello, Teresa. Where are you coming in from? Teresa Michael? Kermudge. Yeah, that is why I cannot live in an apartment building. Why? Kermudge. No, I'm drinking. I finally had to get this. Kelly, you know that my order that's coming in from New York is not even tracking. So I had to bite the bullet and, order this as a backup until the celebratory diet root beer arrives from New York. Kelly says, money, money, money. Why cannot you live in an apartment building, Kermudge? What did I miss? Oh, people making noise. Yeah. Well, I was awake when I heard the neighbor's dog bark, and he doesn't bark unless he hears something, and it made me jump because he's very quiet. He barely says a word ever, this dog. And I'm like, oh my God, and I'm thinking about the front door and, oh my, I'm very paranoid now of the windows and the doors. And well, I only have one. The cameras, and are all the cameras working and pointed in the right direction? Is everything charged? Do I have all my subscriptions are up to date? Like it's got me on edge. So I heard that dog bark and whoa, it even made my cat jump. And then I just heard, like, I think he had his friends over and they were walking around all friggin' night long. And I'm just like, oh my God, like I just need to get my body clock back on a schedule. Um, Kelly Ray says, there you go. Ginger Johnson, welcome. Everyone thinks she had a secret man friend. I haven't heard that before. And somebody in the comments of one of these, hokey spirit box videos said that she was getting ready to testify regarding an insurance scam. I never heard that before. And I recently found out about that social worker that showed up to her house and put the business card on her door. And she had something to do with the elderly. And it was a supervisor. And there were all kinds of like YouTubers that saw it or filmed it. And like this was for real. Like after they had cleared the scene, there was a social worker that came up. Somebody in the building's like sneezing so loud. And they stuck it at her door. And I'm like, who called a social worker? I mean, the woman is not even at home. She's dead or missing. Like, why is the social worker coming up? And usually they're very behind and they can't get out right away. So I'm wondering, did she call a social worker or did a family member or a friend? Did because she had some friends over, not the night that she was at Tommaso and Annie's house, but the night of, I think it was her birthday week. She had some friends over to play mahjong and to eat. And I wonder if she said something to somebody and somebody like called a tip in. I don't know. Like that bothers me. Like, why was that lady at her house? And I hope the sheriff's department has questioned that woman. Kermudge says, I'm a very light sleeper. When I was married to my ex, we lived in Queens in a co-op we owned and hated it. People upstairs stomped around 24/7. Oh, absolutely. New York never sleeps. Myra Emanuel says, hello. Well, hello. Where are you coming in from? Oh, Myra Emanuel. Myra. I was putting the words together. Myra Manuel 8725. Where are you coming in from? I got 17 people in the room right now, and I only have 11 thumbs up. Oh, Jersey. I spent a lot of time there as a kid. I love New Jersey. I haven't been there since I was beginning of 18 because I came home to California, but I spent a lot of years there between the ages of 13 and the very first part of me being 18, and it's my home away from home. Gara vlogs. Man, I'm not able to speak English properly, and how would I be able to speak and understand English properly? Well, just keep watching videos on YouTube, and you'll catch on. You type pretty well for someone who says they can't speak English properly, but you're doing really good right here. Uh, but we are talking about the Nancy Guthrie case. We're talking about Nancy Guthrie, the mother, the elderly 84-year-old woman who is the mom of Today Show co-host Savannah Guthrie. And today is number 21. It's been 3 weeks today that she has been missing. And there was a volunteer search today in Tucson that started at 8 o'clock Tucson time. And it was quite warm in Tucson today, I hear. It was quite warm also in Los Angeles. Quite a rapid change. You know, we're in the 70s. It was like even hotter than they thought it was going to be, and it's going to be 80s in a few days. Like, you know, we're going back into spring mode or summer mode here. Uh, do you think she is still alive? Says Myra. No, I don't. I wish I was wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I'll eat my words if I'm wrong, but I think she's been gone since that night. I don't even know. I think there's a big possibility she wasn't even alive when they took her away. And if she was alive when they took her out of the home, she died soon thereafter, you know, with just her heart and her fear and her lack of meds. Now, also, the sheriff said something very interesting either today or yesterday that, you know, he's hearing all these reports on the news about forced entry, and he says, our department has never said that. So now they're backpedaling on that. Um, there may not have been any forced entry. Did she actually open the door for somebody? I mean, I wouldn't open the door to someone in a ski mask. Was there somebody else there? Remember, you have the guy at the front door that's at the Nest door cam, and then the back door was found wide open when the family got there. A lot of lights had been turned on, and they said she never had that many lights on. And the back door was wide open, and now there's a question mark as to if there was actually any forced entry whatsoever. And I've heard, I think it was Ashley Manfield said this. There was blood droplets in the home that were consistent with the blood droplets that were at the front door, but they wouldn't say where they were. But it looked like it had dripped straight down. And I always think like maybe she was carried over somebody's back, but they hadn't been stepped in or disturbed. But they wouldn't say where they were. And I think if we knew that, we knew more about the actual physical evidence at the house that made the cops say, you know what, I think there's more to this and we need to call the homicide team. I think there's a lot more that we, the public, we don't know. And I think the family knows what we don't know. And that's why some of the live recorded messages by the family or by Savannah have seemed very cryptic, almost as if she's talking to somebody. And they talk about celebrating her, like as if they were talking about someone who had already passed and they wanted her back for her celebration of life. We will celebrate. Like you wouldn't go find your kidnapped mother and bring her back alive and say, oh, let's celebrate your life. Like right away, that was like they know something that she's gone. Especially with these hokey ransom notes and no proof of life. And, you know, I don't believe any of this kidnapping BS. I mean, it could be, it's possible, but somebody took her and took her out, never to bring her back for a reason. Let's see. Kelly says, I will let this play in Boyd, but nurse is here and study about to start. Okay, don't get in trouble with the nurse, Kelly. We need this to go well. Oh, you will play this in the background. Nurse is here and study about to start. She probably doesn't want you listening to YouTube. Myra says, I think that guy was already in the house before Nancy came home. There could have been someone in the house before Nancy came home. And the person that came with the ski mask could have been an accomplice that was there to remove the body. Marissa Gonzalez says, I have the same feeling. There's so much we don't know. There's so much we don't know. And remember, earlier that evening when she went to her daughter's house, to Annie and Tommaso's house, they weren't even available for some reason to come pick her up. And she had to take an Uber. but yet she can barely make it to the mailbox without assistance. Like, they claim, Tommaso had the car. Maybe he was at rehearsal. Like, I thought that band wasn't even together anymore. Like, who knows? Gara blog says, I am from India time. Right now it's 8:45 in the morning. And you? Oh, it is 7:16 Pacific Standard Time in Los Angeles, California. Thank you for coming in from India. I hope you're following me. I got 21 people watching right now, and I've only got 12 thumbs up. So if you guys can hit that thumbs up button, it'll help engage the video. Even if we have 1,000 people come in right now, I don't think I'm going to go very long tonight, but I still would appreciate a thumbs up, and I hope you're subscribed. I hope you hit that bell icon, and I hope you can watch my whole series. Just go to my YouTube channel and go to the live tab, and you can see all the videos. I've done 1 to 2 a day, except for the 6. Oh, you're following me. Well, thank you. Are you a YouTuber? Gaurav Vlogs 966 from India. Are you a YouTuber? I really appreciate it. I have a lot of people watching from India for some reason. I think that's pretty cool. Oh, yes. I'll have to check you out. Myra Manuel. Oh, so you said so am I. So you're a YouTuber. Oh, well, I'll have to follow you guys. It takes a day or two for the chat to reload. And I know my mod, she's not in here right now because she said she's at her sleep study. So it'll take a couple days for you can see the video like right after. I can see it right after I turn it off, but I can't see the chat for a couple days. So I'll have to go back and go through it all and get all your names. But make sure you hit that thumbs up. And if you are following, hit that bell icon. And last night I let people know, somebody asked me if I was on Whatnot, and I said, yeah. And, if you want to click if you want to go see my Whatnot blogs, or you want to click the link in the main channel page description, they'll award you like $15, just to shop on Whatnot, just for the referral. And I don't get 15, but they get 15. And I got an email as soon as I went off the air last night saying, oh, congratulations, somebody just used your referral code and they bought something, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like somebody used my code. So yeah, if you ever want to like go into my links, I've got my eBay store, I've got my Whatnot, I've got my marketplace on my Whatnot. Oh, I got all kinds of links in there if you're interested in seeing that. Or you can just go straight to the playlist and just play the videos just over and over and over again, so I can get my watch hours and I can at least, reapply for monetization. I'm very humble. I hope so. Try to be. Let's see. What do you guys think? I know I ask this every video, but what do you think? Is she alive? Put this in the chat. Yes, she's alive, Nancy Guthrie, or no, she's not. I have no idea. I was briefly monetized, Jamie, before for only 2 months. It took me 3 years, 3 months, and 3 weeks or something, and I got monetized for 2 months, and then as soon as I was monetized, and I actually saw a little tiny bit of money, there's a video on that if you want to see it, they demonetized me. And then I found out that it's happening to many small YouTubers, and they didn't really explain completely what I did, and I was like, well, everything passed the checks. I don't know what I did wrong. Can you explain it? And they wrote in an email that they can't explain it because if I ever got remonetized, I might try to circumvent their system. And I'm thinking, you little a-holes. I am a detective of 40 years. Like, I'm not trying to do anything wrong. I'm trying to do everything right. So then I got trigger happy and I deleted a lot of my videos, not knowing like, well, which one are they not happy with? And then when I did that, knowing that I could reapply in 90 days, something happened. When I went delete, 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 my watch hours went, and I was like, oh no. I should have just like privatized or unlisted. I should have never deleted. Don't ever delete anything on YouTube, because then your hours just go. And I did it in the middle of the night in bed. I was just like, F you, I'm so mad. I've tried so hard and I'm thousands of dollars in debt in this damn channel. And, why is this happening? And then I never thought I'd ever try again, but then I started doing this true crime series on this Nancy Guthrie case, and thousands of people have come to watch me. And I've gained like 220 some subscribers in just like under 28 days. So that's not a lot for a big YouTube channel, but for somebody like me, I'm not even at the 2,000 mark. I could be if you guys start sharing this and subscribing and having your friends subscribe. And uh, Kermudge says, never ever delete. If you do not want it seen, then just put it on private. Exactly. That's what I should have done. And there's this one video that I deleted, and it was really good. And it was about stuff to do with Las Vegas and aliens and Area 51. And I really worked hard on that video. And I'm like, you know what? Everybody I want that alien video back. Like, oh God. And I'm like, I didn't have any of this stuff backed up. And it was just like, so I never plan on being monetized again. But, if somebody wants to contribute, they can always go to the links. And it's just the last couple weeks since I started this series that I thought, wow, I'm getting so many viewers and my hours are going up. And maybe it could happen, but I'm still a long ways away. And, I don't have the beauty of Alaska that you do, Kermudge. I mean, you've done YouTube before, so the, the know-how, the knowledge, the education from doing it before. And then you had that just beautiful nature to like, it's just, everybody wants to see that because very few people would ever see that in their lifetime or be able to go to a place like that. So you definitely, you deserve it, man. You totally deserve it. I hope it's still doing well and it makes you a little bit of a monthly income. As I know it's expensive, for you guys just to even shop up there or to get into town. Jamie James says, I definitely sub. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Jamie. S. Schuster says, I agree. Jamie James says, small YouTube channels are the best. Kermudge. Oh, thank you. It goes up and down. Been stuck at 69,850 subs per month. That's fantastic. And I was in there when you didn't even have that many. And then he did if you guys don't know Kermudge in Alaska, he's actually in Alaska. And he did a video about going and getting the supplies off the, using the Flagstop train. And it just like blew up and, he was a rock star overnight. So, and deservedly so. But I heard you mention recently on one of your videos that you had done some channels before, and I wasn't aware of that. And I was like, oh, no wonder you know what you're doing. And sometimes I've thought, you know what, I should just dump the whole thing and start over again. But then, I don't have that many years left in me. I've been on this now since December 2020, and it's February 2026. And I've received 2 small checks. And some people used to send me those coffees. They cost like $5 to buy someone a coffee, and I think you get like $2.40 out of that. It's like, oh, so that just put money in somebody else's pocket. And then I saw other YouTubers putting up like links, and I'm like, I don't want to ask anybody for money, but I guess it doesn't hurt to put up my links. So I've got everything up there. My business I think is up there, even though I'm not really, actively involved in that anymore. My eBay, my whatnot, and someone did use my code last night, got their $15 and bought something. And when that person gets their item, my account will get a $5 credit. And I was so thrilled, like, wow, I've been doing this for 2 weeks now, and 3 weeks, and I've got a $5 credit coming to me from whatnot. But I don't have a dime coming from YouTube. It will just be plain coffee then. Yeah, you can't buy a coffee in LA for that. Kermudge says, yes, this is my 4th YouTube channel. When I first started, you made money right from the start. I've heard that. And that's so unfair. Everybody should make money right from the start. Kermudge says that video about the Flagstop train just hit 2.8 million. Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm not going to ask you for numbers, but I hear that depending on your category, it can vary your income, per 1,000 views or per million views. I think they count per 1,000, something like that. But I think 1 million views, you might do quite well. And you get super chats all the time because you and Sarah are you're just so cute. And then you got your dogs, and there's bears and wolves outside, and it's just so cool. I could just watch you every day. I saw your video about doing the kitchen in the cabin. I just saw that one. But yeah, I know we're getting off track here, but yeah, it just came on to, let's keep this case, this Nancy Guthrie missing person case. Let's keep it going. I know some of the bigger YouTubers. There's one guy, I think he's from somewhere on the East Coast, I forget. And someone was like, "Hey, dude, you're making like $100 every 10 minutes just in super chats." And I'm like, "Oh, I think I could be sick right now." I hate to think the amount of hours and time I put into this. Uh, I'm not doing this for the money, that's for sure. Let's see. I think I'm caught up with the chat even. Wow, we're down to like 10 people now. See, we got off the subject here. So yeah, I went down the spirit box rabbit hole. I don't believe in the spirit box, but that particular reading that this woman did kept saying Jordan. And it just made me think of the guy that we talked about yesterday, who's not a suspect or a person of interest to my knowledge at all. And speaking of people of interest, I heard an interview today between Brian Enton of News Nation and the lawyer that represents poor little Carlos Palazuelos. And Carlos, he's in a very bad way right now. No phone and can't work. Yeah, they still don't know. They still don't know, like, why he was targeted by the police. And I do know that he and his wife had been doing DoorDash on her account that night, and they were in Marana for some reason. I'm not sure what they were doing in Marana so far away from home, but supposedly working. And he noticed he was being followed, and then he pulled over, and then they grabbed him, and they got everybody, they pulled guns and got everybody out of the car. And he was held in a Marana police car, and then he was held in a Pima County Sheriff's car, and he was let go at the scene. But apparently they did read him his Miranda rights, even though he wasn't being arrested. And his lawyer now is claiming, allegedly, we'll say allegedly, he asked for a lawyer and wasn't given one. While, the FBI was taking down his mother-in-law's front door. And they've never said why. Kermudge says, I don't talk much about the supernatural stuff. Had to do many weird things with it. Or had too many weird things with it. Yeah, well, I had that little moment last night where the tape recorder that's broken all of a sudden activated and made a little hum. And then I was like, okay, things happen. But then when I asked, I have a little memorial on my bookshelf. Well, it's actually a glass shelf. It's got like collectibles on it. I have a little memorial to my dead friend, and I was like, okay, now, and I said her name. If this is you, I'm gonna put this recorder back. I'm gonna sit down, and then you're gonna do that again right now. And like a second or two later, boom, it turned on, and I was like, oh geez, if it's really you, I'm begging you, help me. Let me find Nancy Guthrie. Let's find her. Give me good health. I need more funds. I need more subs. I need 4,000 views so I can remonetize or I can apply. Doesn't mean I'll get it. They can still say, you know what? We don't like you and we're turning you down. But I really enjoy this. I'm not doing this for the money. I'm enjoying it, but I really do. I have spent an awful lot of money and I still don't even have the equipment that I need. So it's a double-edged sword. Kermudge said, X was close friends with the lady that taught John Edwards about that stuff. I'm sure you know who he is. Oh, I do know who John Edwards is, yes. And OC Omega Stacking says, oh, you must be a silver gold stacker. I just subscribed to your channel. Thank you. Oh, hi there, everyone I am new here. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming. Make sure you hit the little bell icon and then you'll be, notified anytime that I put up a new video or go live. And make sure you see this whole entire series. If you're interested in the Nancy Guthrie missing persons case, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and go back to the live tab later, and you can go all the way from February 2nd until tonight, and you can see all the videos and all the chats. Now, for some reason, the video I did 2 nights ago, YouTube, and maybe you can explain this, Curmudge, it's still saying processing. Well, that was 48 hours ago or more that I did that video. And it was no longer than any of the other lives that I've been doing. And it won't show me on the back end when I go into YouTube Studio. It won't show me how many views, or it won't show me anything. It just says that I have like 2 views and it's processing. But yet there's probably at least 1,000 people that have watched it. It's been a good series from you, April. Always try to get into the chat when I can if I'm in the house. Well, I thank you, Curmudge. I really appreciate that. How do you get your internet out there, Curmudge? Do you have Starlink? I think that would be the only way. You support us, so we will. Oh, thank you. Hugs back. Starlink, yeah. Are you happy with that? I mean, I know you probably don't have any other choice, as there would never be any internet, electrical. I did hear you say the other night that you might be able to put in a well for water. That would be wonderful. OC Omega Stacking. I just got my new channel about 3 months ago. Great. There's like 3 people that have said tonight that they have a YouTube channel. I already know Curmudge and I'm following him, but there were a couple of other people that said they have YouTube channels. And when, the video, you can see it after the fact, but you can't see the chat until a couple days later. So if you guys want to put a comment in the actual video in the comment section when it's over and give me like, just say something, then I'll like, oh, I'll go check you guys out because it'll take a couple days for the chat to reload. Curmudge said, we used a hotspot when we got here and it was horrid. Other satellite systems wanted way too much. Oh, okay. I heard like you can, like people that have RVs and campers, that they can just get Starlink that goes with them. There's some way that you can take it with you now, which is wonderful. You're here from New York. Are you getting that nor'easter tonight, OC? Okay, Kermudge says, yes, we have a Starlink Mini for when we travel. Do I know you, OC Omega Stacking, through the gold community? Because I know some of you guys in the gold community stack gold and silver. Yeah, okay. Are you friends with the Humble Stacker? Yeah, he has a nightly show, but it's all about silver. My channel is just about everything. I just did it. Oh, you do know him. Okay. Yeah, I guess in hindsight, I probably should have niched down to something, but I never meant to be monetized. And then when it took 3 years to happen, and it happened for a couple of months, but they don't pay you unless you make $100. So some months it would carry over because it wasn't enough. And then people were giving me, but maybe Kermudge can answer this. I got a few like super chats and super stickers, and I heard that they take a certain percentage, but it seemed like from me doing the math, it was a lot more than what is reported online. So how much do they take from those super chats, Kermudge, if you don't mind answering? Because I was shocked. Kermudge, we are like you, the PI stuff, April. We do a little bit of everything, homestead stuff to prospecting. Yeah, but you're in Alaska, like it's just Like, that's just amazing what you have to work with there. It's so amazing. I love hearing about, like how you're hearing the wolves or different things about the bears. And then I'd love to see you go out in the spring or the summer, carefully speaking. Be careful because I know there's a lot of wildlife and you're in the middle of nowhere. That's not like you can just call 911 for help, but I'd like to see you like go out in the stream and, get some gold, right out of the ground. 40%. Okay. That's what I heard, but it seemed like it was a lot more. It was just like that, buy me a coffee thing, which I still have, but I haven't got a coffee in years on here. Like, you can buy somebody coffee for $5 and they get like, $2 and change. I mean, I'd have to have somebody buy me 5 coffees just to be able to go get a drink at like Starbucks. Kermudge says, "Ooh, I will be this summer." Well, I hope you're able to record it, even if you just got to wear a camera, like like on your forehead or something. I'd love to be able to see that. Take a GoPro with you or something. But be careful for bears because they'll be out at that time. Bears and wolves, and it's so cool. I think some of my favorite videos I've ever seen of you, Kermudge, is when you get the turkey. They throw the turkeys out of the frozen turkeys out of the airplane and deliver it to your homestead. And I know this year it seemed like this past Thanksgiving it took a while to actually find where it landed. Um, I use Insta360 cameras. I dislike GoPro due to the issues. I had 2 GoPros. The first one hardly lasted, and the second one has all kinds of issues, and I feel like it's a complete waste of money. And it's just sitting unused. I might actually, you know what? That gives me an idea, Kermudge. Maybe I could put it up on eBay and sell it. I mean, it's not broken, but they do have issues. The last time I think I used that GoPro, I did a march with Soleil Moonfry and her kids, and there was quite a few like famous friends of hers that showed up, and in the middle of it, I met David Arquette, and he went on camera for me, and that whole part of the GoPro footage it wasn't even there, and it wasn't my mistake. It was like the David Arquette footage was just gone, and it was some of my best footage, and I'm like, you know what? I can't effing believe this. And it's sitting in a bag full of parts and accessories, and I'm just like, I'm so done with it. Um, you still have a 3, a 5, and 11. I'm trying to remember. I think I had an 8. I may have a 9 or a 10 now. I'd have to look. It's been so long, I couldn't even tell you which model it is anymore. I heard about the Insta360 from This Alaska Life, but I was watching her when she was nobody, and now she has so many subs that her husband, and I won't say his salary, but it was posted online, and it was mucho bucks. He's been able to quit his job, and they're on a 4-month um, trip of a lifetime right now as we speak in the lower 48 with a new truck and a fifth wheel, and their van bust the gus, and they're basically able to do that and even take their kids out of school and go on the trip of a lifetime that millions of people will watch on YouTube because of the success of her YouTube channel. And she's in Alaska. People like to watch that. The big channels make big dollars. Yeah, she's become her channel has become mostly commercialized, in my opinion. And a lot of viewers are like, they're pissed and they're like, all you do is try to sell stuff. But I understand, it's her living now. And with her husband quitting her job, and they spent all this money to go on this trip, and he had to drive, from Alaska to Canada down through the United States, and he got stuck in that blizzard in Ohio, and then when they finally got the fifth wheel and they got the 83-year-old grandpa driving the backup vehicle behind him, he was like, oh great, 8 miles to a gallon. And that's without the family even in the car. It's like, 8 miles to a gallon. And they have a 4-month trip that's going to start from Florida and go all the way across back to Alaska. Like, uh, I would have never done that. But you know what? I'm not a successful YouTuber. I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, they're going to make that trip for 8 miles to the gallon. And then he was in Georgia the other day on the way down to Florida, and the women were like, "Oh, be careful! Like there's, even in the wintertime, like be careful, the rattlesnakes." And he was just like, "Well, we don't have snakes in Alaska." Like, what are you talking about? You know, that's pretty funny. But yeah, I would never want to be that big. I want to do this for myself, and I've made, having a small channel like this, I feel like you guys are all my friends and my family. You're my YouTube family. We just want to go see a few friends up here that live far away. Yes. Well, Alaska's so big. Isn't it like the size of Texas, Minnesota, and California all put together? Like, that's amazing. No snakes and very few fleas and ticks. Wow. I heard that the state bird of Alaska is the mosquito. I'm surprised anybody's listening to this now because we're not even talking about Nancy anymore. But um, everybody, let's say a prayer for Nancy Guthrie, and let's hope that she's found soon. And I don't know, the longer this goes, the more I'm thinking that this is just never going to have a conclusion, and I just don't want to think of that. Um, what advice do you have for someone interested in becoming a private investigator? That's a tough one. Get your training in for many, many years before you go out on your own. Make sure you know everything backwards and forwards. You know, go do some trainee work for licensed PIs that know what they're doing. Um, if you go into law enforcement and you just get a free pass, you're not going to be prepared for what you need to be prepared for. You need to start at the bottom. Start at the very bottom, and you won't make much money. And the schedule will, if you're not young, don't do it. um, it's a lot of work. If these illnesses take me out at any time in the near future and I have a chance to come back and start over again, I don't think I would go down the path. It's too hard. But I've been very successful at it. Everybody tells me to write books, but I have no interest in it. But yeah, it has, you know, I put a lot of my opinions on here about this case, and that's just because of my experience as a PI. But, you know, I'm not an expert in kidnapping. I've worked on a few, but not in decades. Let's just hope that Miss Nancy, is found. And, she feels like everybody's mom or grandma, like I wish I had a mom that was alive that was like Nancy. She just seemed like such a fantastic person. And I keep talking about her like she's in the past, but that's just in my heart. I feel that she's no longer with us. But I still, even if she's not, I want them to find her, and I want them to find who did it, whether it's, a family member, um, a friend, an acquaintance, or it's something connected to Savannah Guthrie and her husband. It's got to be one or the other. It's revenge and money, or revenge or money. And I, you can't convince me that this is a typical kidnapping for ransom. I don't believe that. You can't convince me that this was a robbery or a burglary gone wrong. The people that did this, whoever did this, spent way too much time in her house, and that's just not typical. You get in and you get out like a bank robbery in under 2 minutes. You don't F around for, 40 some minutes. So there's a lot more to this than what we're being told. And I understand that the cops say they have to keep things close to the vest. I understand that. But I also don't understand why they release the crime scene so quick and they keep changing their opinions and their stories. And, who's a suspect, who isn't a suspect. Everybody's, nobody's cleared. This family's cleared. No, nobody's cleared. They don't know who did this, unless there's something a lot that they know that we don't know. Like, but right now they're at a standstill. They're just waiting for DNA. Like, there's volunteers out, scrounging the desert floor today because nobody knows anything. Um, Hard to please guy, another YouTube genius. Are you talking about me? Are you talking about Sheriff Nanos? They do keep changing their stories or adding on. Yes. A lot of changing of the stories or backpedaling. But let's just see how it all works out before we judge them. But yeah, I'm not happy with what I've seen from Pima County. See, I always, as a PI, and I've always, we get called in when the police can't help you. I've worked a lot of things in my career where the FBI couldn't help, and they're an elite law enforcement agency. So hopefully the Guthries have hired, top private investigators as well. I'm just seeing if I missed anything in the chat. Make sure you guys, if you're watching, you give me a thumbs up. Go back to, my channel, go back to my lives, go to my live tab, and you can just go from the very beginning. And I heard about this Sunday night 3 weeks ago, very late at night. I read about this and I was like, oh my God. And by, the next morning, Monday, it had blown up, and I just started my YouTube series, and I've done 1 to 2 videos a day, every day except for the 6th. Everybody knows that I was in surgery that day. And second major procedure in 2026. And I'm done with surgeries for now, and I've been watching the spring training games from Arizona. I'm a big baseball fan. I'm a big Dodger fan, if you can't figure that out by my beanie. I just want the warm weather to come back, the rain to stop, and although I've enjoyed the rain because we hardly ever get it here, I'm just tired of the cold and the rain, and I want to just have, warm weather, not hot weather, and watch baseball. And you guys can send me emails or send me something if you have something more than an email. I have a business address on the main channel page. I have all my links. Somebody last night, and I think it was from my chat here, somebody signed up to my whatnot, and they bought something, not from me because I didn't have any sales. I wasn't on the air, and I didn't have anybody buy anything from my marketplace, but somebody did use my code that I mentioned at the very end of my video. And I got a email from Whatnot like, hey, congratulations, somebody just signed up using your code, and when their transaction is complete, you will get a $5 credit in your account. And I was so excited over a measly little $5 that I don't even have yet. So, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. You're a Dodger fan too, although you live in Miami. I'd love to go to Miami and just metal detect. But I'd need help at my age with, I can't see me going down the beach with a cane. Yeah, I have a video actually, Lori. Excuse me, if you're a baseball person. This root beer. I have a YouTube video that was released in 2025. I have several baseball YouTube videos, a lot of shorts about baseball, but I have the video about the game that was in Miami last year, Miami and Philadelphia, where the lady went crazy. Everybody was calling her Karen. And they've never found out, by the way, who that woman is. But if you live in Miami, you should watch it because the game was in Miami. So chances are, it's probably someone from that area. I mean, there were a lot of people there though from other places that, Philly fans that may have flown in to see that game. But watch that video about the game in Miami that happened last baseball season. Arizona Desert Walker, welcome back. Hello to you too. Have you heard anything, Arizona Desert Walker, today besides the fact that they had the volunteers that gathered in Tucson in her area about 8 a.m. and they went out searching? They found a black backpack, but it's not the one from the crime, but they found one in a tunnel. I guess there's some underground tunnels that they accessed. I'm not sure what those are about. And the Pima County Sheriff's, a female deputy came out and secured it as evidence and took it. Did anybody see that? The searchers found a backpack. I wonder how many more gloves they found today. The two ladies may get in trouble for posting flyers on mailboxes. What flyers? I don't live in Arizona, so I'm not aware. Yeah, I know as a PI, we can't touch a mailbox for anything, and we don't. At least I don't. Oh, Lori Ann, have you just, you're following me on Insta right now. Thank you. Must be the same Lori. Lori M77 FLT. Is that what it says? FLT? What does that stand for? But you should, yeah, you should see the video about the baseball game in Miami and the Karen that just freaks out. Cry Red, you're pretty cool. Nice to meet you. I'm Crystal. Nice to meet you, Crystal. Where are you coming in from? In Arizona Desert Walker, can you remind me, are you in Tucson? Oh, you're a Mariner fan. Well, then you should watch some of my more recent live videos on this case, and you'll see me wearing my Seattle Mariners Kuma Bear winter cap that's all fuzzy and warm because it was, it was in the 40s in LA, 40s and 50s at night. That's like Alaska for here. Congress, Arizona, okay? Yeah. Watch me wearing my Kuma Bear cap. I look ridiculous, but I love it because it's so comfortable. But I couldn't wear it today because it's hot today. I've still got the windows open. You got my location dang quick. I don't have your location. You're a Mariner fan. Did I get your location? I see Lori is in Miami. And Arizona Desert Walker, you're in Congress, Arizona. Most people never heard of the Mariners. Oh, I've been watching the Mariners since Ken Griffey Jr. No, I did not. My hair, that grew back in 2020. It's just weird. Oh, you're in Seattle. I know quite a few people up in Seattle. Not a lot, but a few. I've always wanted to go to Seattle. But it looks like, with my age and my health, and I got my kitty and my bunny, that looks like I'm going to be in LA for the rest of my life. Luckily, I traveled a lot as a child. And I saw a lot of the world. Not all of it, but I saw quite a few countries when I was a kid. I am a licensed PI. In fact, my anniversary of starting my career is February 24th. So it'll be 42 years in how many days? What is today? The 22nd? 2 more days. It'll be my 42nd anniversary. And then, of course, I got licensed August 6, 1992. Same. I'm from here, so been here since they asked the last person that leaves to turn the lights off. Patty, welcome. Are you studying the Nancy Guthrie case? Well, we've been talking about the Nancy Guthrie case. I mentioned earlier that, when I came on tonight that I went down the psychic rabbit hole again, and I don't really believe in all of that, but it was the second person I listened to that did a spirit box reading, and it was kind of interesting, but you'll have to watch the beginning, and you'll if you want to see the playback, you'll see what happened. Do you know that saying in history? What saying? Oh, about... No, I have not heard that. It's from the 70s. Turning the lights off. No, I hadn't heard that. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. Send me those red hearts. Make sure you have the bell icon. If you're subscribed, that you hit that bell icon. You guys can also go to my main channel page. You can click my links. Somebody did that last night, and they got $15 to spend for free on Whatnot. And they didn't even buy anything from my store. I said, if you want to click that link or go watch a Whatnot show and click the QR code or click the link in the video description or even go to my main channel page. Somebody did it, and they must have bought something from somebody else. And I got the email from Whatnot thanking me for putting out a referral. So everyone was leaving Seattle, so they asked, will the last person leaving make sure to turn the lights off? Okay. I hadn't heard that. Is it cold in Seattle right now? It's like mid-70s today in LA. Yeah, I had not heard of that, Cry Red. It's 23? Oh my gosh. We were like 76 today. And it felt so good. 23 to 47. Oh, I'm glad that we've got snow all over LA, over the mountains. Not in the flatlands, but in the mountains. It's just gorgeous. Major swings. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, and I hear they're having a nor'easter on the East Coast today. We hit 28. Oh, wow. That seems kind of warm for this time of year where you are. I know that family from This Alaska Life, when they were trying to get the equipment bought and down to Florida, they got stuck in that storm in Ohio, and they're like, it's colder here than it is when we left Alaska. This is the time of year we start warming up. Well, that's good. Yeah, I need to watch your other videos on some of the renovations you're doing to the cabin. I saw the one that I mentioned earlier when you were working on the kitchen. And I remember you said to me in one of the lives that you had to go to beat the train to get your cabinets. I hope your cabinets came in. Every time I see like the house or the cabin and all the equipment you have, it's like, how did you guys get all that stuff literally off the grid in the middle of nowhere with a train that doesn't even go to your door? I mean, it's a mile away from your house. Like, how did you get everything there? And you mentioned you're going to order a new stove. Like, are they going to be able to bring it up on the train? Cry Red. So I know you probably already gave one, but can you give me an update about Nancy Guthrie? Yeah, there's not really an update today other than a search crew went out, like a volunteer search crew in her neighborhood. Even though the police didn't really want that, they did, and they found a black backpack in a tunnel, but I don't think it's related to the case. The last thing I saw was them finding 16 gloves. Yeah, I think they probably have more than that now. Okay, Kermudge says all the stuff comes up on a truck with a crane on it. You mean they put a truck on the railroad track? Arizona Desert Walker says it's not related. You mean the black backpack? Could just belong to some homeless guy. What were mentioned about they spent 40 plus minutes inside her house? Well, they think, first they said 41 minutes, and now they're saying like 47 or 48 minutes. Just because they have the time that the camera was compromised, the Nest door cam, and then they had the time that the heart pacemaker stopped syncing from her iPhone. And typical kidnappers don't spend that kind of time in a house. Mudge says yes. So there's like, besides the train, there's a truck that comes on the track with a crane on it and drops stuff off. Do you have to pay for that? I would think so. I will see it in this week's video. Oh, okay. I think I saw that in one of your videos where like a vehicle went down and I'm like, who the hell is that going down the train track? What was I hearing about new FBI technology being used? I don't know. Yeah, from the camera to the pacemaker event, there was 40-some minutes time. We don't know. Somebody was very comfortable to be in that house for that long. And maybe something didn't go well in that house and she died. But I don't know. Yeah, the viral video shows a bunch of vehicles on it as well as the freezer and side-by-side ones. What's the one with the freezer? I know that some things have to be delivered to your property by helicopter, and that's probably extremely expensive, but I didn't know that they can deliver something by truck on the train track. Like, how the hell do they do that and not have a collision with a train? Oh my God. And then once it's off the truck by a crane, how do you get it lifted onto the side-by-side? Cry Red. Nancy Grace was mentioning that someone else shouldn't be talking about it, but she didn't say what it was. That they shouldn't be talking about what? Oh, I know. I saw like a title on a video earlier where Nancy Grace says for the sheriff to shut his pie hole. I agree. He just needs to shut the F up. Kermudge says, been saying all along something is fishy with this case. Yes. Okay, Kermudge says you had a freezer dropped off. You mean from the crane that's on the truck that's on the train track? Cry Red says, I don't think she is still alive after this amount of time. OC Omega says, I don't know. Kermudge says the Tundra truck service costs $19, 100 pounds. Oh, I didn't know that. Is that what it's called? The truck that's on the track, the Tundra trucks, cost $19, 100 pounds. Oh, wow. Still, how do you get it? How do you get it from the crane to your? Did they put it right on your side-by-side and you're able to drive it on the trail? Arizona Desert Walker. I think they are showing too little of information. You lift it. Oh my God. Cry Red says, yes, I think it was something like that. Oh my gosh, Kermudge, be careful. Get everything done now because one day you're going to be old like me and you're not going to be able to do this anymore. Unless she was taken like a Mexican cartel hostage and they literally want her for ransom. Absolutely no way. Because even though they could have got her across the border, once the ransom was paid, if they had proof of life, they would have an impossible time getting her back. And remember, ransom per person, person for ransom. How would you get her back from Mexico? She's not in Mexico. Unless somebody took her there to just dump her body in the desert, she's not in Mexico. The cartel, they wouldn't mess around with an 84-year-old woman. They're not interested in Savannah Guthrie. Kermudge says sometimes, LOL. This week we got a new diesel generator. Nice. Oh, you mean on the Tundra truck? Vicky says, hello, my friend, and I was wanting to mention that they haven't asked for proof of life. Well, they would have to show proof of life in order to get that ransom, and they haven't shown it. Kermudge says, lots of laughs, you are not that old, or LOL. Laugh out loud or lots of, I always say lots of laughs, but it's laugh out loud. You are not that old. If Sarah can do it, you can. Well, Sarah's incredible. Cry red. They would give her back once the money was paid. Well, yeah, how are you going to get her across the border, though, to do that? Cry red. If they're holding her in Mexico. You think the kidnappers are going to stop at the border and say, excuse me, we're the kidnappers and we're bringing her back? Can you let us back into the United States to bring her back? Never happens. Yeah, if they're going to give her back once the money was paid, she's certainly not in Mexico. Cry red, a coyote could do it. Not with an 84-year-old woman. My partner had people from his work that have held for ransom because the family was in Mexico. Yeah, I don't think she's in Mexico unless they took her there to dump her. Vicky, exactly. Cry red. They would send $5,000 and the person would be let go on any road. I just don't believe it. There'd be no purpose to take her to Mexico. But if you listen to the spirit boxes, she was taken south. But then if you listen to the one I listened to last night, she's in room 19. Does that mean anything to anybody? Attic, room 19. She's in Tucson, but yet international. Nah, she's too old. Yep. Absolutely, Vicky. You should be a PI. OC Omega, I'm with you. There's a rat and it's closer than we think. Exactly. Okay, OC Omega, thanks for coming. Well, we don't know that the family's not involved. I hope not, but anything is possible. Remember, I'm the only person on YouTube that's talked about this second house mortgage that Nancy took out in 2017. And I haven't looked at the paperwork. I haven't done a title search. I'm not investigating this. So I wouldn't waste my time or money to do a title search. But you can see it. Just type it into Google. Type in her address. You'll see everything there is to see that's listed without doing a title search, and you'll see the second mortgage. I'd like to know what that money was used for. Like her family are involved. Possible. Oh, you saw that about the second mortgage? I'm the only one that's reported it that I know. Yeah, we don't know why that is. A house that was bought and paid for, probably. I mean, it was bought in 1975, for Christ's sakes. Why does, it was 8 years ago, but why was someone who would be in her mid-70s at that time need a 35-year second mortgage for $168 a month? It was for 70 grand. What was the money used for? Yeah, it was 35-year mortgage, and she was in her mid to late 70s at the time. It was 2017. We're up to 2026. So depending on what month it was 8 or 9 years ago. And she's 84 now. So that would put her at 75 or 76 when she took that out. What was the purpose? Was it just routine upkeep for the house? What was it for? I think somebody was asking her for money. And I think somebody recently may have been asking for money, and she finally just said no. I hope I'm wrong. It is weird. There could be an explanation for it. Depends on how she lived socially. Cry red, why do I keep hearing her and Annie had an argument over money that day? Maybe they did. I do not like the body language of some members of her family. And you take that however you want to take it. I don't like their body language. I'm not saying that they're kidnappers or that they're murderers, but, I don't like the body language. And it's not going to be one of these things where if God forbid that they did find out her son-in-law is involved, where his wife is just going to go, oh, no. If he's involved, she is too. But we don't know that they're involved. The sheriff says they're clear. I don't believe anything that he says, but 8 years ago, isn't that when Savannah's affair with Matt came out? Oh, I hadn't heard about that. Matt Lauer? Are we speaking about Matt Lauer? Vicky says, God bless her soul, and I pray for the best. See you tomorrow. Thank you, Vicky. I hadn't heard about that. I read. She may have needed money for PR. Oh, hey, Sant 1982. I haven't seen you tonight. Saw a retired FBI YouTube show giving examples when to call tip line, and one X was, you tried calling your ex-boyfriend night of abduction and you couldn't reach him for hours because he was out. Kayla. Okay, let me see that again. You tried calling your ex-boyfriend night of abduction and you couldn't reach him for hours because he was out. From Kayla. Oh, you mean Kayla Day. Cry Red says, gotta go get groceries. I'll be back if you ladies are on. I could use some groceries, Cry Red. I'm going to have to eat my leftover Taco Bell. I hope you gave me a thumbs up and that you're subscribed. But go get something good for you. So stay warm. Well, I thank you. I thank everybody for coming in. Once again, you guys are like my family. Thank you for subbing, Cry Red. I appreciate all you guys viewing me. If you can just keep watching this series and watch all my other videos, I could get my watch hours up really, really quick. Because I never even wanted to put that in my head that maybe someday, I'd have enough watch hours where I could reapply. But with all the people that are watching this and seem to be enjoying this series, it's actually crossed my mind. And I kind of don't want to like go there right now because I wasn't planning on that happening. But just let's get me up to 4,000 watch hours. Sant, 1982. Yes, what are the odds he would use that example if he hadn't heard about Kayla? Yeah, it is kind of coincidental, the night of her arrest versus the night of the raids and the day after her incarceration, although she was not picked up in any way relating to Nancy Guthrie. But the timing's just kind of coincidental of everything that's happened since. And I'd sure love to know all these people of interest or suspects or non-suspects. I'd really like to know in Tucson, which is not that big of a town, how some of these people may know one another. Is there a connection between the dailies and Metro Man and the people in Marana and the guy in Rio Rico and Annie's husband and the convicted felon bandmate, the drummer, Dominic Evans? Like, do any of these people all run in the same circles? Heard Kayla was Nancy's niece. You know, I heard that too. And then people said that it's not true. It is true. It's 50-50. Don't know if it's true. But it would certainly make it interesting if it turns out to be true. And if she is the great niece or the grand niece. She would be her niece's daughter. So she would be Savannah's cousin once removed or something. But that can't be proven yet. And then the whole kidnapping inserts in Savannah's 2024 book. I know. And I think that's how somehow they're all putting all this together like, oh, well, that's connected to Kayla and her family. And I don't know that it is at all. Because the cousin who they treated like an aunt that used to do that back when Savannah and her sister were young, she was known as Terry. And I don't know if Kayla's mother's name is Terry. Now, if I could find out that Kayla Days has a mother named Terry, then I would put it together and go, yeah, it could be true. But they're saying it's on Savannah's father's side, if it's even true. So we won't say here that it is or it isn't because I simply do not know. Wow, 90 minutes. I just wanted to go on for like 10 minutes. Oh my God. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming in. It means the world to me. Everything is unconfirmed. Every single thing we've heard in this case is unconfirmed, except for the blood drops at the front door that I've seen with my own eyes on YouTube. But everything else is just conjecture. And everybody here that we talk about is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Hermudge says, thank you for updating us, April, even with the little sidetracks. Much love from us. Hugs. Hugs back to you. Keep feeling better, hon. Gotta run. Say hello to Sarah. Well, thank you, everybody. I'm going to get off the air now, and I'm going to go warm up some Taco Bell quesadillas, and that's going to be my dinner tonight. And then I'm going to call it a day. Thank you for coming. I love you all.